What is wrong with the system where, particularly with women, that they're getting subjected to such inhumane treatment once they are incarcerated?
Well, the interesting thing is that our prison system wasn't set up for women, and I would imagine that you would agree with that. And so if you use a male model, then you think that men always need to be restrained. And so you don't think about the fact that women are pregnant in prison. You don't think about the fact that babies are born in prison. And so you know, Dr. Phil, better than anybody, when you break that bond, you don't allow a mom to establish a bond with a child. You take the child away. Then the woman gets out. She might not get her child back because if she was in prison too long, then her parental rights can be terminated. Right. And you start a cycle because of laws that were passed that continue to punish people once they get out. And I have to say, as a politician, and I can say this, politicians do that because you can win elections off of I was tough on crime. If you focus on prevention, that's really hard to sell because prevention means something didn't happen.
And you and Karen were talking about women being actually shackled during delivery to the point of actually breaking bones right. and creating problems, yes. And you're very passionate about this.
Yes, yes. That day that we were there, we were discussing two of the most important issues that involve women in prison, and we've heard it here today. It's like a horror movie, actually. And we were talking about women going to prison because of opioid addiction, really by accident, because women are not being told what they're being given when they're in the hospital for just mere surgery or an accident, and then they get addicted really with that first prescription. So we were dealing with that, and then after that, we met with the other representatives and senators and such to talk about this horrible issue of being in delivering a baby in prison. Okay, so they maybe they went to prison pregnant, but a large percentage of those women were impregnated while in prison exactly. because of rape, because of sexual abuse. Now they're taken to this delivery room. Well, it's not a nice suite like at Cedars. It is a horrible room, a hard steel table. Imagine this, they shackle their legs, their feet, their arms, and expect them to give birth to a baby with no compassion. They can't move. And we're talking about not just the woman, but we're talking about a baby who didn't ask for this. And you just have to just hope and pray the baby is delivered healthy. And let's just hope the mother makes it through that childbirth without some kind of broken back, with just, and I have to say this, if they need, at the last minute, a cesarean. Mm-hmm. You have less than 5 minutes to get that woman prepped for cesarean, mm-hmm. and hopefully the baby then is not born with a birth defect. Mm-hmm. So there are so many issues that are involved, and they don't really care because the woman is in prison.
And that's why
yes.
this Protecting the Health and Wellness of Babies and Pregnant Women Custody Act is...
Yes, that's legislation that we're doing to really look at the well-being of the mother and the baby during pregnancy.
The bill would do a lot of things. It would adopt federal policies to prohibit use of restrictive housing and restraints on pregnant prisoners. It would provide national standards of care to address pregnancy-related needs of incarcerated women, provide access to prenatal and post-delivery care. All of these things are so important.
Right, and let me mention the restrictive housing. What that means is solitary confinement. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because there are many examples of women who were complaining about contractions or whatever. They're not believed, and then they are violated. They're sent to solitary confinement. Mm-hmm. Numerous examples of women delivering the baby on their own. Sometimes those babies don't survive childbirth.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.